Good morning, everybody, and a happy Wednesday morning to you. There's a lot in here, you guys, because Harry tried to steal the thunder at Trooping the Color and on Garter Day. It didn't work. But also, are you ready for this? Netflix wants to buy Spare and do a show out of it. I'm not kidding. There's a lot in here. Let's just jump in and cover it all. Stick with me. Let's go. Believe it or not, I'm going to start with this article because I think people think that the king doesn't do anything except the official functions like Trooping the Color and, the Order of the Garter service, etc. But the truth is he's a very busy man with a very busy social calendar, including leisure activities like somebody's birthday party. I love that. Here we go. We had the Order of the Garter. Now, I'm going to give you information about this while you look at all the fabulous photos and pictures, okay? So what happens is members of the royal family go to Windsor. The service takes place in St. George's Chapel. There's a procession around the grounds, and then the senior royals go back to the castle in a carriage. It is the oldest order of chivalry in the UK, and there are a lot of rules that dictate who can be inducted into the order and how many members there can be. So, as I said, this is the oldest order of chivalry in the UK and the most senior knighthood, which is only outranked by the Victorian Cross and the George Cross. New appointments are entirely up to the king's discretion and are usually in recognition of national contribution to public service or for personal service to the monarch. It sees knights and ladies of the Garter put on these gorgeous ceremonial robes and attend the service before taking part in a procession around the grounds. The robes are dark blue. They have the heraldic shield of the St. George's Cross, which is sewn onto the left shoulder. Only the king's robe is different because he has the star of the order. The hat is a Tudor bonnet with ostrich and black heron feather plumes attached at the top. There's a gold collar which is worn around the neck and tied to the mantle with white ribbons. And finally, the garter itself is worn around the left calf by knights and around the left arm by ladies. The garter is actually a buckled velvet strap which has the order's motto on it, which means "Shame on him who thinks evil of it" in gold letterings. Now, again, there are very strict rules who can be inducted into the order. Membership is very limited. You have Prince William, you have the king, and then 24 people on top of that for a total of 26 people. You can have members of the British royal family. You can have foreign monarchs. New appointments are left entirely up to the king's discretion and are typically in recognition of a national contribution to public service or for personal service to the monarch. Now, some notable non-royals are Andrew Lloyd Webber, Baroness Amos, Sir Tony Blair, the former governor of the Bank of England, Baron King of Lothbury. The two most recent members of the royal family that were added were Queen Camilla in 2022 and the Duchess of Gloucester in 2024. Now, other members of the royal family, like the Princess of Wales, the Duchess of Edinburgh, who we just saw, watch the service inside of St. George's Chapel and then later take part in the carriage procession around the grounds with their, respective spouses. You should know that Garter Day is considered to be one of the most significant dates in the royal calendar because just the word knight, brings up images of King Arthur and acts of chivalry and valor and, jousting and lances and fighting and, from wicked people. And, this is, basically in order to recognize those for their good service for things like art instead of sword play. I do love it though. And I love, to see all the outfits. And I've told you before, nobody does pomp and all of this kind of stuff like the UK. Sorry, they're absolutely the champs in this. Now, remember I said you could only have 24 and the members of the royal family don't count. William doesn't count and the king doesn't count. But there are honorary royal members of the order not included in that number 24. The Duke of Kent, Princess Alexandra, and the Duke of Gloucester have all been recognized for their long and dedicated service to the late Queen, okay? And the Queen's four children, obviously King Charles, but Princess Anne, Prince Andrew, and Prince Edward were all appointed to the order. We're going to be talking about Andrew and this whole thing in just a minute. Prince William, just as an FYI, was the 1000th knight to be added in 2008. Now, a lot of people have talked about Catherine and Sophie and what a warm relationship they have. You saw them earlier standing together, waiting for the service to start. Also joined with them at one point in the pictures you saw earlier were Princess Alexandra and the Honorable Lady Ogilvy, as well as Sir Tim Lawrence, and they were all standing there waiting, okay? They always seem to have such a warm relationship, but it seems like lately they look like they matched up their wardrobes on this particular, occasion, in my opinion. The route that they went was lined by troopers on foot from the Household Cavalry Lifeguards and Blues and Royals. They wore the plumed helmets and they were carrying their swords. Now, as you can see, hundreds of spectators lined the procession route. Many brought hampers and camping chairs, and, they made a day out of it. Very interesting, because before the service, King Charles actually hosted a lunch for the order. So I'm going to give you just a few dates, some more information while you're looking at these fabulous pictures. King Charles was appointed to this order in 1958. The Duke of Kent, 1985. Princess Anne, 1994. Prince Richard, the Duke of Gloucester, 1997. Princess Alexandra, 2003. Prince Andrew, 2006. Prince Edward, Duke of Edinburgh, 2006. Prince William, 2008. Queen Camilla, 2022. Brigitte, the Duchess of Gloucester, 2024. Now, the Duke of Kent did come and go, but he came and went in the car. I'm not sure why he didn't want to sit in a carriage. Maybe he couldn't get in. He is, he's coming up on 90. But that's him in the back of that car. So he arrived by car instead of walking, and he left by car instead of by carriage. I'm glad they made some concessions for him at his age. As usual, a big thank you to Remoulade Sauce for showing us what Catherine and Sophie were wearing. Now let's turn our attention to Andrew really quick. For those of you who don't know, apparently he was among the guests at the luncheon before the service, but he didn't go to the service. So he wasn't in the procession, but he was invited to the lunch, and it's being said he was invited to the investiture. So he's been included in the private aspects of it, but he's out of the public aspects of it. So he hasn't lost all of his privileges, but he's just not, showing up and doing what everybody else is doing. I don't know that he can be removed. So maybe this is just a compromise that's good for both sides. All right, let's move on to our Harry Meghan stuff. This is one of our big stories, and this is what I don't understand. Supposedly, he was asked to deliver a message commemorating the inaugural Veterans Day celebration in Germany. I don't understand. He's a nobody. He's got nothing. He doesn't represent anybody or anything, but they're claiming that the success of the Invictus Games in Dusseldorf is the reason why he was asked to do this. So here he is preaching on an international platform because he's a self-appointed, person for all of this. And I'm going to let you know what he said. I'm going to let you listen to it for yourselves. But one of the things he said is that loyalty must never lie with power alone, but with people and truth. And that's almost like, I don't know, I don't like his wording. Harry continues to talk about Afghanistan, but we know that Harry never fought. He was actually Bunker Harry, and he's clinging on to those royal connections. He's wearing those medals. For those of you who don't know, only one of those medals was for service to Afghanistan, and the other 3 medals are for the Queen's, Silver Jubilee and Platinum Jubilee, and everybody has those medals in the UK, from what I understand. I mean, I don't get it. So let me just make sure you understand. Germany is marking its first ever Veterans Day, and a new memorial for the victims of the Nazi occupation in Poland is going to be unveiled in Berlin. Germany has a very complicated relationship with its military, because of everything that's happened in the past. But I could think of a lot of other people that would be better to give a speech to the Germans than Harry. And according to Harry, they only have a Veterans Day now because of him. No, I'm not kidding. I want you to hear what he said.
It's a profound privilege to be asked by your Defence Minister to deliver a message to you on this sacred Veterans Day. My last visit to your remarkable country was to Düsseldorf 2 years ago for the Invictus Games, and it remains etched in my memory. The warmth, the enthusiasm and the unwavering support shown by the German people for our global community of wounded service personnel was truly humbling. You certainly delivered on your promise to create a home for respect. That spirit of camaraderie, forged on the sports field, mirrors the unbreakable bond that connects veterans of all nations. We understand each other, regardless of flag or uniform, bound by shared experiences and an enduring commitment to service. Veterans are more than warriors. They are leaders. Living testaments to resilience and moral courage, they understand that loyalty must never lie with power alone, but with the people and with truth. As someone who has worn the uniform and stood shoulder to shoulder with brothers and sisters in arms from across the world, including many of you, I know that the weight of service is not carried lightly. We serve not to glorify war, but to protect peace. Not to follow a single voice, but to uphold a collective oath. To country, to people, and to the principles that bind us together as free nations. Germany has shown the world how memory, accountability, and unity can be turned into strength. In these turbulent times, your role in safeguarding peace and stability in Europe has never been more critical. To the brave men and women of the Bundeswehr, a heartfelt thank you for your steadfast service to your country, to your people, and to one another. Today is also a celebration of you, the values you stand for, the oath you took, and the great country you stand to protect. Today, let us renew our commitment, together, to protect the freedoms that define who we are, to serve each other for peace, for dignity, and for the enduring promise of democracy. Vielen Dank und einen schönen Tag.
Now, here's the part that really gets me. They're claiming that Harry now speaks German. When he says, Guten Tag, Deutschland, that means good day, Germany, okay? These are pre-planned phrases that anybody could say. If the man speaks fluent German, come to my house. Let's have a whole discussion in German. Vielen Dank und einen schönen Tag, which means thank you very much and have a nice day. Anybody can say that. It's a pre-planned phrase. Now, with all the AI skills out there, we don't even know that Harry is actually off his porch. This could be completely fake anyway. But again, there's things that I have an issue with. Harry is alleging that he was asked to give this speech by the German defense minister. I don't believe that for a second. It wouldn't surprise me if he found out that Germany was going to have its first VA day and he had his people contact those people and he offered to give a speech. That sounds more likely the scenario than the minister of the VA reaching out to, of all people, Harry. Because we know that Harry is a hypocrite and people can't get past him. And let's not forget when he went to Germany, people found that he and Meghan had been rude. We found out that 23% of donations to Invictus were used to pay for Harry and Meghan and their security, her clothes, their hotel, their food. Then we found out that Invictus Germany has splintered off and is doing their own thing. So let me make sure you understand that Invictus Germany was established after Dusseldorf hosted the Invictus Games. And they have included in their stuff like police and fire and not just army. So they've kind of expanded on it. But now people are saying, oh, they stole it. Actually, Harry stole it from the Warrior Games. So a big thank you to Kylie on Twitter for this picture. Oh my God. All right, let's move on. All right, let's move on. We know that Netflix deal is about to go bye-bye. There's some talk that Netflix is trying to hang on to Harry and Meghan for the divorce deal because, things aren't that well. But the next bit of information that came out is that Harry is being urged to sell the TV and movie rights to Netflix from the spare. In other words, we have no more deals. We have no more money coming in. We don't know how we're going to pay our bills. We don't know what we're going to do. So the spare, they're saying, is the one ace the couple can play to guarantee blockbuster ratings and ensure themselves another huge payday. Now, keep in mind that while this is going on, Harry is begging his family for a reconciliation. Now you want to know why they're not reconciling with this man? Because he'll probably sell it and they're gonna make I'm telling you, there will be no reconciliation. I'm telling you, their relationship is over. I'm telling you, the second William becomes king, he's going to remove the HRH from Harry, from Meghan, from the kids. He's going to say, we're done here. Don't talk to us anymore about reconciliation. It's over. We're done here. Goodbye. I'm telling you. But would it shock me to hear that Harry's going to sell his book? No, that wouldn't shock me at all. The man will do anything for money. He's a rent-a-royal. Everybody's got the measure of him. You know what I'm saying? Enough already. The royal family needs to pull the titles, pull everything, and let them go. Go away. My God. All right, you guys know what to do. If you're already subscribed, double check, make sure you're still subscribed. Then go down into the description box after you leave your comments, and you'll find the links to my Twitter, Gettr, Rumble, email, my father's book, which is still up for sale on Amazon, my Amazon wish list, as well as a link to my second channel and a physical address. For those of you who have donated to my coffee fund, thank you so much. And as always, you guys, have a great day.